In this video I will be ranking the episodes of Archer season 7 from worst to best. I have to say that I don't hate any of these episodes, but at the same time there are also no standout episodes like in previous seasons. So picking my least favorite and favorite episode was a lot harder than I expected, but in the end I managed to rank them. So let's start with my least favorite episode. This episode is the first of a 2-episode long story, where mysterious events are taking place on the Deadly Velvet set. And so it is up to the agency to find out who's behind it all and protect Veronica Dean. This results in a tension-filled episode where you try to figure out who's behind it all at the same time as Archer and the others. At the same time, this episode doesn't have a lot of action, but it does have some hilarious moments, making it an overall enjoyable episode to watch. Next up is Liquid Lunch. In this episode, the B-plot is just as enjoyable as the main plot, with Krieger trying to hypnotize everybody including Mallory, and Archer and Lana teaming up with Slater to find the former CIA agent to prevent World War III. And the best part is probably Archer getting waterboarded, which is hilarious because at first he is convinced that it won't do anything to him, and that it is no big deal, but afterwards he regrets these words. In episode 7, the guys and girls split up and make a bet to see who is better at seducing someone, with Mallory backing up Carol and Lana Pam, while Archer has more confidence in Krieger and Ray in Cyril. And this gives us some hilarious moments where it is obvious none of them are fit for the task of seducing someone. And Ray, Lana or Mallory constantly want to double the bet as they feel confident about their choice. And it all ends with a great fight scene where everybody gets to participate. Episode 2 claims the number 7 spot. In this episode, Archer and Lana have to exchange money with thugs who have a disc with sensitive information about Veronica Dean. And they are accompanied by Shapiro the lawyer, who is unaware that Lana and Archer are actually the ones who stole the disc in the first place. Well, until the end that is, at which point he gets understandably pissed off. This episode also has the best elaborate voicemail prank, which is actually real and not staged by Archer. For about 2 minutes all you hear is Archer fighting against lots of bandits, and this is just so entertaining to listen to, while the others are listening to the call. And this episode is as entertaining as the first episode. I love the opening of the first episode, as these cops have an interesting conversation, with a twist at the end where it turns out Archer is lying motionless in the pool, which of course raises the question of how he got there. This serves as an excellent setup for the things to come this season. In the rest of the episode, Archer, Ray and Lana have to steal a disc to get some money for the new agency as they no longer work at the spy agency. And these three teaming up is great, as Lana and Archer constantly argue while Ray can give some great remarks and points out the obvious. And there's also a nice reveal at the end where it turns out the gang stole the disc for the wrong person who they assumed was Veronica Dean. And while a lot of this episode is dedicated to establishing this new premise, it's still an extremely enjoyable episode that still has that Archer magic. Coming in at number 5, we get part 1 of a 2-episode plot, where everyone from the agency gets to go on a mission to protect Veronica Dean. And as a long homage to Archer's mention of having or developing tinnitus, there is a tinnitus fundraiser. And aside from that, dangerous clowns show up that want the precious necklace of Veronica Dean. So it is up to Archer to stop them. And as Archer has infiltrated the clown criminals, this makes for an interesting setup for the things to come in part 2. Barry makes another appearance in the 4th episode of this season. This time he is not trying to kill Archer, but instead he is looking for the identity of his mother. And when Archer declines this request to the surprise of no one, Barry kidnaps Mallory. And Mallory shows everyone what she is capable of by freeing herself without the help of anyone else. So what makes Motherless Child great is Archer trying to get rid of Barry, Mallory being awesome, and Barry is also great in this episode. The final episode of this season is part 2 of the murder mystery, where Archer confronts Veronica Dean and where Archer gets to team up with the cyborg version of himself. And this has the best cliffhanger and ending of the entire show, when it turns out that it actually is the real Archer lying motionless in the pool. And the first time I saw this, it left me speechless and I wondered how they would follow this up in the next season and if Archer will be dead. So this is an episode that will leave a lasting impact on you after having seen it. And for that reason alone, it deserves to be so high on this list. Part 2 of The Clown Hostage lives up to the expectations from part 1, as this is just as tension filled, and has an awesome fight scene of Archer, Lana and Pam who mistake each other for the enemy as they all wear clown costumes. Throughout the episode there are also lots of hilarious remarks, and this just makes for a fitting conclusion to the 2-part story. Deadly Prep might very well be the most insightful episode we have gotten about Archer's life, and this is one of those rare occasions where I actually feel bad for him, which isn't hard since his childhood bullies Whitney and Ivy make an appearance and they are the absolute worst, making it easy to empathize with Archer and makes you at least understand why he turned out the way he did. But that doesn't excuse his behavior, of course, which Cyril also points out, as he is often the victim of Archer, and throughout the episode the creators were still able to cram in lots of jokes, and I found it really engaging to learn more about Archer's past and how he deals with his childhood bullies. Because this plotline made me so invested in the story, and since it's just an extremely engaging episode, I had to give the number 1 spot to this episode. So that was my ranking of the episodes of the 7th season of Archer. Let me know if you agree with my ranking, and if not, how would you rank these episodes? Thank you for watching, bye bye.